Every captain likes to be prepared, and on our trip that meant 50 live shrimp, a half dozen fishing poles, extra hooks, and the ever-important bug spray. This story, however, was a situation nobody could prepare for, and is one that, had there been no witnesses, you might think is a little out to sea.
We were fishing for bull reds, and he set his pole down sort of like this and walked away.
Murphy's Law kicks in right about now.
Apparently a redfish came, the cork went down, I looked over and the pole went over. So we lost the pole.
The embarrassment might have cost the client more than the pole cost Captain Mike May.
He was mortified. He felt horrible. You know, he wanted to stop fishing. At one point, he acted like he was going to dive over and try to go get the rod. I'm like, it's okay. It's just a fishing pole. It happens, you know.
But as fishtails tend to go, something wild was about to happen.
About 30 minutes later, one of the other guys on the boat hooked a redfish, and when we got into the boat, we noticed a line and a cork. When I pulled on that, at the end of it was my rod and reel.
And the demise of redfish often comes from gluttony.
They were floored. They couldn't believe that we had just caught the fish that had that rod and reel on it.
Remember, folks, you don't have to set a circle hook. And on this vessel, you'll learn how to set a rod and reel in a fish.
Hold that, there you go. And pull a bunch of line onto the deck. It's called angling for a reason. She's working good angles on the fish.
But if you've never caught a yellowfin tuna, there is one ritual you must be prepared for. Call it a rite of passage. Biting the heart of the fish.
Oh my God, it's twitching. Oh my God, this is so gross.
Welcome to the club, now you want us.
It's just salty.
Five years later came the BP oil spill. Judd considers himself one of the fortunate shrimpers hired by BP and staying afloat.
As you probably already know, we've got some black oil all around us.
No, we couldn't fish at all. I mean, when they gave us a job for a year, you know, and they paid us well. Like I said, I don't know if we can have any long-term effect.
That one jumped out of our booms, walking on the water, going toward the igniter boat way over there.
We would catch y'all, and then they would come and light it, and we'd just drift around until it all burned out.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and my little bitty one.
We were top secret. At the time, it was undeveloped technology. You know, they knew they could do it on the water, burn oil on the water, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't refined. So we refined it.
5 years after the spill, Captain Dufresne is finally regaining his full sense of smell. And while the Mr. Jug shrimp boat will fish this spring, the captain says he's talked his 4 sons out of full-time shrimping. After what he's seen over 4 decades shrimping, he says the future of the business is just too murky. While the team wouldn't give away all their secrets, they did share a few.
So you got to have your special glasses on so you can see through the water.
Tell you a secret, you know, a lot of people don't know that fish can see, so we wear camo because you go out there with bright orange and bright green. Fish have a tendency to see that.
There's a bunch of perch out here, but it's the biggest 15 today, so you want to be able to actually walk around, pick out the big ones, and fish for that specific fish. You don't want to waste your time on the small ones, so I'm sightseeing today with the glasses.
I had on my polarized sunglasses, so I only had one more question. How do I join Team Camo?
You can't. No women allowed. It's a guy's thing. Nothing personal. My wife's asked me too, so don't feel bad, but it's a guy's thing.
Last year I had a guy on a boat that has never fished before in his life. So I had to teach him how to cast. So I did that. So his first cast went well. On his second cast, I went my rod and reel in the water. he threw the whole thing in. Well, he was so ashamed of himself, he sat down the rest of the day and didn't even fish. All he did was drink beer the rest of the day.
However, sometimes the gree-gree can start with you.
The first trip in this boat, I'm backing it in into the water, and my buddy says, and I was breaking it in, so I had my friends with me, and he says, "You can put the plug in?" Good. And now the boat's 3/4 of the way in the water already, and I'm like, no, I didn't put the plug in.
Oops. Or maybe a simple miscalculation.
Drifting down the bank, and the water might be a little bit lower than you think it is, and getting stuck on an oyster reef and having to get out the boat and push the boat off the reef. That's not fun. That happened last year, actually.
But on a gorgeous day in a secret spot in Plaquemines Parish, we effectively shook the gree-gree off.
Oh, great. Did you get that?
That's the gree-gree.
No, that's what gets the gree-gree off.
No bad juju here.
I bet it's bigger than your fish.
It's close.
We ran 179 miles one way across the Gulf. What?
One way.
One way in literally 15 to 25 knot winds.
But when fishing is your passion and your profession, sometimes you have to go the extra mile, or maybe hundreds.
It was literal 5 to 7 foot seas.
You could say the fish were just as hungry as the fishermen.
The first day, we caught all of our fish in 7 minutes. The second day we came, we caught all of our fish in 12 minutes. So we didn't even shut the engine off. We literally left the engine running. We caught both of our fish, turned around and ran right back.
So I had to see for myself if Captain Charlie really knew where the big fish were. And he did.
That's a good fish, keep them coming.
That is huge.
Take your time, you got them. Honestly, talking about tournaments, this is the perfect tournament fish right here.
So I didn't endure the elements like the captain, but his enthusiasm was infectious.
It was dangerous, but it was awesome. I mean, we got back and we were one of the only teams that made the run and made it all the way back. And we had a really good story to tell everybody when we were up on stage. The fish that I won that tournament with, believe it or not, on film, I said one more cast.
65 gallons of gas one way, hours of endurance boating, and a lot of faith make for one epic fishtail.